Hi there, and welcome to the Grief and Rebirth podcast. I'm your host, author and trauma survivor Irene Weinberg, here to encourage you wherever you are in your healing journey. In each episode, I chat with incredible grief and trauma specialists, healers, mediums, and celebs, as well as remarkable people who have inspiring healing stories to share. If you're looking for a podcast that's both uplifting and inspiring, you've found it. Let us help you find your joy in life. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds each of you so very well. I'm speaking to you from my studio in West Orange, New Jersey, and I am delighted to have this opportunity to interview Petia Kolibova Burns, an abundance and light activation coach who will be speaking to us today from Las Vegas, Nevada. Petia empowers visionaries to expand in all dimensions of their lives by giving them immense clarity, plus the exact steps to unlock their divine feminine and abundance mindsets. She is a passionate human design practitioner and a certified breathwork facilitator who draws on Reiki and neuro-linguistic programming to equip women to tackle the challenges they face creatively, collaboratively, and with confidence, leading her 6- and 7-figure clients to their next level in life and in business. Petia is a contributor to the Amazon #1 best-selling book titled 21 Days to Soulful Success. She has a podcast titled Unapologetically Abundant, and she hosts dynamic retreats that bring immense clarity about a person's blocks and desires regarding abundance and more. So it may come as a surprise to learn that Petia grew up feeling unloved and unworthy. After 18 years of destroying herself with an eating disorder and a constant search for someone or something that would make her feel better and give meaning to her life, Petia decided to help herself to heal. Instead of becoming a slave to her limiting beliefs and other people's perceptions, and how many of us spend our time worried about other people's perceptions of us, she mastered the art of loving her life and sharing her light. I'm looking forward to talking with Petia about the origins of her eating disorder, her journey of personal development and self-love, how she mastered the art of loving her life and sharing her light, the way she guides women to intuitively connect with their inner vision to experience personal and professional magnetism, what it means to become unapologetically abundant, and more, for what is surely going to be a very inspiring and illuminating interview. Hi, Petia. A warm, heartfelt welcome to Grief and Rebirth podcast.
Thank you so much, Irene. What a beautiful introduction and what a beautiful energy you bring to everything. It's so enriching and enlivening. Thank you.
Thank you so much from my heart. Truly, I appreciate it. So let's get into the nitty-gritty right away. Tell everyone what led to your eating disorder during your childhood, and why were you constantly searching for someone or something outside of yourself to make you feel better, which I don't think is something so strange to a lot of people. They probably do the same thing.
I feel like so many people are conditioned to outsource their worthiness and their happiness. When you think about it, when we were little kids, that's how we survived, right? By getting attention, by people pleasing, by doing everything and anything that other people wanted from us. And unfortunately, many of us take it into the adulthood. We still do that in work, in our relationships. And that's how I find myself, feeling unloved and unworthy, because my mom got remarried when I was 5 years old, and my stepfather was physically and mentally abusive, which led me into feeling, that I shouldn't be even here, that I was an accident, that I don't matter. And there was a completely different behavior towards my younger brother, who was later born from that marriage, and me, when I had everything forbidden and I couldn't do anything or go anywhere, and he had so much freedom. And so I was thinking, when you're witnessing it like a little girl, when you're, 7, 8, 9 years old, you think there must be something wrong with me, because if wouldn't be something wrong with me, then I wouldn't be treated this way. So we create these patterns and beliefs. And that's what led me into eating disorder when I was 11 years old. Like now when I'm looking at that, I can't even believe, because 11 seemed to me like a little girl. But back then I felt like an adult just because I felt like I had to mature so quickly to protect myself, to provide for myself, to even like run away, right? So that's when it like started, and that led into people pleasing, toxic relationships. When I was 18, I ran away from home because my stepfather beat me up. And
how could you have a role model? You didn't have a role model for a healthy man,
no,
for a good relationship either.
No.
Was your father was not in the picture at all?
So that was even worse. So my biological father,
your mother didn't pick him too good.
No. And that's the thing. Like when you think about it, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today, Irene. That's why I'm helping women to heal generational traumas. It's generational healing. It's not just about you, because when I heal, I am able to help heal my mom and my grandma, my great grandma, whether they're on physical form or not, and the future generation. I would never let my daughters to feel the way how I felt personally. So for me, I did not have a role model because my mom was dating my dad since she was 15 till 17. Then they had a first intimate encounter. And the first time she was with him intimate, here I am, she got pregnant. My grandfather was womanizer, alcoholic, abusive. So she
had that pattern. That's what she was repeating.
Exactly, because she didn't know any better. She didn't see my grandmother stand up for herself. She didn't see my grandmother living in love and abundance and being safe and taken care of. So that was the first experience of my mom. Then she remarried, because after they got divorced when I was 2 years old, because my biological father, he didn't care. He didn't care to be with us. Then next year he got, remarried with someone else, had twins. And then, I met him a couple times when I was a teenager, and
I heard her.
Yeah, he was a thief and he wasn't present. And then what I also find out later is that he stole all the money from his family, from his kids fund, and disappear. And we never heard from him, So I'm better not to even have that influence in my life. But that's how I was choosing my partners too. I didn't know any better. And I had to change from inside out. So I was able to attract, this is my second marriage. And I told my husband, this is the last one, I'm done. And the first one was very much resembling my stepfather, narcissistic, very selfish, womanizer, cheating on me. Because, he was like, hey, I'm not drinking and I am not gambling. I'm not beating you up. So what are you complaining about? Right. Wow. So I feel like in life, sometimes we just settle. It's like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not because it's good, but it's not that bad. And that's why I'm teaching women now to never settle in their life. And it doesn't mean quit everything and go somewhere, to private island. It's just does this feel right to me? Is this correct for me? Do I really want this? How do I feel when I wake up in the morning?
I think you're giving them permission to acknowledge their feelings, though, because a lot of women don't even know that they have a right to their feelings or to their perceptions. They sort of have to go along to survive. I had a similar story. I mean, not without going a lot into mine, but I also had an abusive first husband because he was like my father, who was abusive.
You see,
and I started getting into healing, and then I chose much better the second time around.
Yes. And I feel like we have to remember that. And you just said that, Irene, everything it's a choice. You can always choose. And for me, around a year ago, my grandma transitioned, but before she did, I asked her, I was spending a lot of time with her. It was back in Czech Republic, where I'm from. And thankfully that I have the business that I have, that I could spend 6 weeks with her, And I traveled there and I asked her, what is the one thing you regret the most in your life? She was 77. And she told me, she was like, the thing that I regret the most is that I didn't get divorced sooner. Because back then, when she was younger, it wasn't as easy. She went to the judge. She told them that grandpa was abusive and drinking and with other women. And they told him, well, if you want a divorce, you have to go to therapy and counseling. And my grandpa would never go, so she couldn't divorce.
Oh, that's terrible.
And they divorced when she was, around 60s, I believe, because he found a lover and moved with the lover. So.
And you know what? Today, people would advise the woman, don't worry about him. You go for yourself. You have to learn that you do have choices that you can make. It's a little different, I think, generally today. So now you go through all of this and you're starting your journey of personal development to self-love. Do you want to tell us what you did? Did you wake up one morning and say, I'm going to take a course? What am I going to do? How old were you? And what did you start to do to begin your healing journey? And boy, oh boy, am I happy when I hear people began a healing journey. So what did you do to start to transform, Petia?
I feel like for me, it was like literally feeling that something has to change because, when I was 18, I attempted to suicide.
Oh, wow.
And I knew a decade later when I was getting into the depression and that, that point that you feel like, why am I even here? What's the point? When you feel like it's just everything just going through the motions. I knew that the second time you don't fail, So I was back then like crying and I was on my knees. I'm like, what do I do? And back then that was a decade ago. It's like so fascinating how it happens in a decade, I was looking online and it wasn't as easy. There was not so many podcasts, not so many therapists online, and you can just go and look on Instagram or Facebook. Back then it wasn't as popular as it is now, but I was looking at YouTube and Google and thank goodness I found Louise Hay because she literally saved my life. I was looking on how to overcome eating disorder, how to be happy, how to overcome suicidal thoughts and things like that. And
she literally had to overcome an eating disorder. Oh my goodness.
No, she did not, but she overcame like trauma. She was molested as a little girl.
Oh,
and
wow.
And then she started her life when she was like 55, and she died very peacefully her own way when she was, I believe, 94 or something like that, But she was teaching about self-love and self-respect and how to heal your life. So I started to listen to her videos and I found Dr. Wayne Dyer and Dr. Joe Dispenza and Tony Robbins and Gabrielle Bernstein and all these people. And these people brought me hope. And that's exactly what I needed. I just needed hope. I just needed to know that there's nothing wrong with me and that we can all go through challenges and struggles, but we don't struggle to be like stopped. We struggle to grow and expand and to help others. And I always feel like we are given these things because we can overcome them, like there is this saying that God doesn't give you what you cannot handle. And sometimes it feels like I can't. I don't know how to go any longer. But even like last year, and listen, like when we're on our healing journey, it doesn't mean that like, okay, I healed it all and I'm done.
True. It's like
I know there is a couple years between us, Irene, and I know that even though you're a couple years a little bit more mature than me, you're still on your journey.
Absolutely.
It's not going to end. So, even for me, last year was like one of the hardest year of my life. Like, I experienced miscarriage. And then next month after that, we were robbed with my husband and it was at a gunpoint, like my husband had a gun to his head and other guy put a knife to me. So there was so much like unexpressed like anger and not understanding. So the thing is that no matter where you are on your journey, there will be layers, there will be other veils to remove. And it's okay because you're given this, because you can handle it, you can learn from it, and you can alchemize it and change it for others, like you did, Irene, with your life and with your story. Not everyone can handle it. And we both know it. Like, my uncle 15 years ago, he did suicide. So I know there are people who cannot handle these things, and it doesn't make them weaker. It's just a different choice for the soul, right?
Right, absolutely. And sometimes as a soul, they don't even know that they have choices, that there are other paths they can take. They're just in so much pain.
Exactly. And that's why I feel like it's so important for us to look at our healing journey and understand it is never going to be linear. It's never going to be done. And it's going to change and shift, and it's going to get easier, and you will have more tools and more support than ever before.
So let me ask you though. So, okay, now you went through this terrible thing and you had a knife to you and your husband had a gun to him, and you have during your transformation, you mastered the art of loving your life and sharing your light. With a situation like that, how does that work? Because obviously you're traumatized and scared, but you're focused on loving your life and sharing your light. So in a situation like that, how did you process that? Did you go for more healing?
Yes. So I feel like it's no matter what happens in our life, I feel like it's super, super, super important. Give ourselves space. First, you with you. Like you with you, how am I feeling? What is coming up? What is this triggering in me? And like I give myself time to Talk it out loud. I gave myself space to be angry. I gave myself space to be confused. I gave myself space to go through everything by myself without like reaching out for, it's not like I didn't reach out for help. I shared it, of course, my husband, he was there, but my best friend and clients and things like that. But after I was able to process it, then I asked myself, what do I need right now? What do I need right now? And I needed to feel safe. So I did hypnosis. I spoke and work with a psychic medium. I did Reiki. So yes, I reach out for deeper healing and help so I can access deeper, because we are not meant to do this all alone.
I agree.
But I feel like it's so important to start with you, because I could be just like, come here and fix me. But I'm not broken. We have to feel our feelings. It's so important to allow ourselves, whatever it is. And my husband back then, he was like, when not with the robbery, but, with our miscarriage, he was like, why don't you speak to God? I'm like, no, I'm pissed. He's like non-denominational Christian. I'm very spiritual, very open, but it's not like I go to God first. He goes to God first. And I'm like, no, I'm pissed. I'm angry. Why would God do that? Like, there's so many people who don't want kids, who don't care to have kids, who don't take care of themselves. And we are so loving. And this was conscious conception. We wanted the babies. So I was angry and I could not work with anyone else. I had to first work through it by myself and with myself and journal about it and feel all the feelings. Nothing wrong with feeling whatever it is, guilt,
Absolutely
shame,
right.
anger. We got to feel it to heal it. And then we can ask for help, because then you know what you need. It's not like you're shooting in a dark and thinking like, let me do this, because it's not coming from the higher place of you. It's coming from desperation and fear. And that's low vibration. You will bring in more of that into your life.
When you say about low vibration, I so relate to that. So let me ask you, with all these experiences that you've had, how have they inspired you to guide women? And what brought you to this path that you're on, where you guide women to intuitively connect with their inner vision and their feelings, I imagine, to experience what you call personal and professional magnetism? And what is that like? And why did you choose this area to focus on to help people?
It's a beautiful question. And, I honestly feel like in life, the things choose us. So it wasn't like I sat down and let me think about what I want to do. I'm very intuitive, So for me, it was just like following the breadcrumbs. It was really like following my curiosity, following my intuition. So often, Irene, the things that I have done in my life, they made no sense in a moment whatsoever. But then you look back and you're like, ooh, I understand.
You see the pattern, you see.
Yeah, you can see it more clearly. And for me, I feel like I was feeling so much scarcity growing up, and it wasn't poverty. It's not like I didn't have a food on my table or what to wear, but it was scarcity and feeling unworthy and feeling unlovable. And I feel like when we can own who we are, who we came here to be, what are our gifts, when we can own that, when we become unapologetic, that's when the abundance can come. If you're not feeling worthy and deserving, how do you want to receive abundance? You can't. It will come, and then you will find a reason how to spend it and waste it. And abundance, it's not just the money. I love teaching women about money and how to create more impact, because I want them to be free, because I wasn't, So I teach women how to attract more money in their life through their business. But the women that I work with, they're here to help others. So it's such a beautiful ripple effect. I work with service providers, coaches, healers, visionaries. And for me, it is so powerful, because I feel like it's a ripple effect, And when my grandma transitioned, it was 5 days before my birthday. A couple months after that, like, we were like this. She is and always is going to be my soulmate. I love her to life.
It must have been so disturbing to her when you were growing up, and she witnessed a lot.
That's the times that she did stood up for me. She wouldn't stood up for herself, but she would stood up for me. She was like, my second mother, if not the first. But the thing is that after she transitioned 2 months later, I was doing breathwork, myself, and I had a vision of her, and I missed her so much, because up until that moment she would show, and I'm like, if there is spiritual, if there is something after, like, I want to see you, I want to talk to you. I was praying to see her in my dreams and things like that. And I saw her in that breath work so clearly. And she spoke to me and she said, like, what are you doing? It's me living, legacy, my legacy through you. So it was just so life-giving to know, even if she's not here in a physical form, and I miss her to life. Really, I miss hugging her and kissing her hands and, caressing her hair. She always hated it because I messed it up. But I'm like, let me touch you while I can. It's just like we were so close. And now I know she lives through me, through the legacy I'm creating. And I know how proud she was of me. So what I'm doing, it's not just for me and having a beautiful, comfortable life and amazing business and husband and family. It's because I know I'm creating ripple effect, because I know I'm serving women who are more confident. And the women who come to me, they're never motivated by money. They're motivated by service. They're motivated by compassion. They're motivated by impact. And that's why I want them to have money, because they have such a good heart. I'm like, you have to have money, not the corrupt politician, not the people who don't care. I want you to have money so you can invest and circulate money from a place of love.
That's
why I
beautiful.
do what
That's
I do.
beautiful. How about giving us an example of one or two people who have transformed through your work? Where were they when they came to you, and what happened once they took training with you?
Absolutely. So one of my dear clients that, I love, there's many, but as an example is Leona. When I met her, that was almost 3 years ago. She was in a marriage with, husband who was drinking, and he was like mentally, not physically abusive. She used to be in very strict religion. And through our work together, she started to realize her worth. She started to realize that she had a choice. She divorced, left the religion. She became single mama of 3, but through her business, she was able to create enough income to not only take care of herself, but also to invest in herself, to travel the world. She never did it before. She was able to fix her teeth because she would never do it before because her husband wouldn't allow her,
Oh my.
So for me, it's so life-giving to see her. She just started recently, her podcast, her coaching business. She also has an organizing business for people who are moving. So seeing her coming to life, and it's not only I'm helping her, but her 3 kids, who see what's possible for the mama, and how they always have a choice. So again, it's generational healing. The women who come to me, it's not just, for them, it's for their families and for people around them.
I can see how you would be very inspiring to work with Petia. So tell me, which is what you transmit to so many people, what does it mean to become unapologetically abundant? I mean, that means you're not apologizing if you have lots and lots of money and you're very successful, because obviously when people become abundant, other people are intimidated by it. People resent it. People, whatever. So explain to us how you teach people that.
I will. And let me ask you, Irene, do you feel intimidated by me?
Not at all.
And I am abundant. You know what I mean? So I think it's just really perception, because it doesn't matter how abundant or not you are. There will be people who won't like you, won't agree with you, who will be jealous about you, who will be talking bad about your back. And it doesn't matter if you're making $1,000, $10,000, or $100,000 a month. It doesn't matter. We didn't come here to please. So when I say being unapologetic, it's not about not apologizing about having money. It is about being unapologetically you. It's about owning your gifts. It's about expressing yourself, sharing your story, and owning who you are. And when you become unapologetic, you become magnet to the right people, to the right opportunities. Money comes to you easily because you don't have to be chasing. You don't have to be struggling. You don't have to be pushing. You become magnet because you're you. I'm not for everyone, and I'm not meant to be, because I care so deeply about my clients and how I support them that I couldn't be supporting the whole world, right? So being unapologetic will bring you abundance, but in all levels. It's not just that we build multiple 6-figure online coaching business. I attracted the love of my life, who treats me in 4 days, it's going to be our 5 years anniversary. And he treats me every single day like the queen. I'm in so much gratitude every single day how he treats me and cherishes me, how he takes care of me. It's so beautiful. Abundance of health, abundance of freedom, abundance of being able to travel. It's
changing your mindset to this abundance brought him in. Explain to us how changing your mindset to love your life and to accept yourself attracted this beautiful man into your life.
I feel like I had to become the best lover that I ever had in order to be able to attract my husband. Because in the past, I would lose myself in relationship, people pleasing, and I would do anything and everything that I thought that I had to do to, be loved. But before I met my husband, Christopher, I chose to take care of me. I bought myself fresh flowers. I took myself to dinners. I treated myself nicely. I made myself nice dinners and not just like, hey, let's put it on the plate and who cares? Nobody sees it. Treating myself in a loving way. I asked myself, how would I feel when I'm in loving, loyal relationship? What is important to me? What are the qualities? What are the aspects of the man? But it was about how he will make me feel versus how he will look, what he will have, right? Because let me tell you, like, my husband wouldn't pass my vision board test, I would think like someone older and tall and dark hair and Italian style, and I got younger, American, bold, white skin, blue eyes. I told him our babies have to have his eyes because he's such a beautiful eyes. But it wasn't about who he look like, but who he is being. So I got really clear and I said this or something even better, and I'm not going to settle. And because I was in a place that I did desire to be in a relationship, but I didn't need it. That's why
I think that's the
attracted
easiest,
him.
healthiest way, when you want it, but you don't really need it. That's a different message, right? Than when you're very needy for it.
Absolutely. And this goes with everything, Irene. This goes with money. This goes with clients. This goes with impact, friendships, everything. If you're in needy, energy, you're saying, I don't have it. There is a lack. But when you can celebrate, I was celebrating, I was journaling every morning. And I said, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm in loving, loyal relationship with a man who is family oriented, who is faithful, who treats me well, who is athletic, who is healthy, and all these things. It wasn't true yet, but I was putting that energy of gratitude and excitement versus, where is my man? Where is he coming? I'm bored. I don't want to be alone. No, that's a needy energy and lack energy.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's great advice. All right. So now that we know how much you have to offer to everyone, tell us about your private coaching, your home study courses, and your retreats, which your retreats look divine to me.
Thank you so much. I've been hosting retreats since 2019, and we hosted them in Bali, Tulum, Mexico, here in Las Vegas. This year, because of personal reasons, I'm not planning any in-person group retreats, but I'm still doing VIP days and VIP weekends, which is one-on-one with me, which goes even deeper and richer here in Las Vegas. And I'm focusing really on our one-on-one coaching clients, which is where my heart really is. And in March, we're also starting a mastermind called Richly Rewarded, where we are teaching
Say it again. What is it called? It's
Richly Rewarded.
Richly Rewarded. Oh, wow.
And we are really teaching everything that I have learned in business for the past decade on how to be abundantly paid, to be yourself and not work hard. I don't stand for it. I work 2 to 3 days a week and I'm so blessed. So we teach all about that abundance, money, how to delegate, how to build your business, your credibility, how to launch your podcast or books or summits, depending on where people are, but having really hands-on access, really having hands-on support, where we are doing every 90 days where we have online retreats where we teach you on how to plan your business for the next 90 days. And you have one-on-one coaching calls, and you also have group coaching calls. So every week we also give marketing feedback. So we really make sure that the people who come to work with us are feeling fully supported and are creating this beautiful ripple effect that I want of healing and abundance.
That's beautiful. How can everyone connect with you? Do you have a special offer?
So for me, I love connecting on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, you can find everything through my website. I know not everyone is on social media. For me, I love Instagram, which is just my name, Petia Kolibova. You can just, I know you will put it in the show notes because nobody, will remember. And special offer what we have, we created a beautiful process that it's called Abundance Activation Process, where we help you to get really crystal clear on what's holding you back in your abundance, attracting and receiving your abundance, uncover lack thinking, uncover hidden obstacles, so you can walk away with an action plan and really feeling renewed and re-energized and open to the abundance. And that would be, again, I will send you the link for that, for the abundance activation process. It's just my website, abundance/activation/process, but I'll send it to you.
Send it to us and we'll definitely include it. And Petia, what is your message? And you're going to have a good, wonderful message, I know it, about the importance of healing your past, activating your gifts, and uplifting your reality that you'd like to share with everyone in our audience?
I love that question, and for me, what's coming up, it's just reminding people to remember they were perfectly made for their purpose. I feel like so very often we are trying to fit the mold and fit in the boxes and try to be like everyone else. But when you truly remember you're perfectly made for your purpose, that you are perfect the way you are, of course, you want to keep growing, you want to keep expanding, go. You don't have to change because there's something wrong or something is missing. You're perfectly made for your purpose. That will bring you so much freedom, just to understand that.
That's beautiful. And what is your tip for finding joy in life? You have to have a great tip.
There is just so many that are coming up to me. For me, it's just nature. That's the first and foremost, no matter where you are, being on a sun, going on nature. I have greens in front of me, even though we live in the middle of the deserts. I have hummingbird feeder right in front of me, so it brings me so much joy to disconnect from technology and be fully present in nature, or kissing the belly of my dog. It's just there's just I feel like no matter what you do, be where you are, fully present. That will bring you true joy. Think about it. Kids, when they're running around and they're so joyful, why? They don't worry about past. They don't care about the future, right here in the present moment. So whatever you choose to do, be fully present in that.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful advice. Petia, by mastering the art of loving your life and sharing your light, you've become a very special role model and guide for so many people. I just want to thank you for inspiring women to become unapologetically abundant in so many ways so that they can manifest their deepest dreams and desires. And I thank you from my heart for this wonderful interview today. And here's a loving reminder, everyone, that you can see the show notes and all Grief and Rebirth podcast episodes on ireneweinberg.com. And make sure to follow us and like us on social at Irene S. Weinberg on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe so that you'll never miss an episode. As I like to say, to be continued. Many blessings and bye for now. And thank you so much, Petia. Thank you.